Adu, you had a question.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I guess I was just interested in this spiritual ego, right? How to break it down in these 20 ways of seeing it.
Spiritual ego will not go unless you are close to Arhat. That's a strong calculation. Because as soon as you are a Sotapanna, the spiritual ego starts. Because you require some ego. You can't say, I don't want any ego at all. That's not tenable. Not possible. You're just imagining that you should have an ego while the ego exists. Like even an observer is an ego. You can't say, I'm devoid of even observer.
Yes. I could understand. I agree to that. I'm just curious how to break down to have a better, an anatomy of it, so we can understand.
No, you can put anything under the 5 aggregates. So, from attato samanupa, what it means? Equals self. That is, myself is the rupa. If I put teacher, I am that rupa. It need not be this body. Don't get taken that you're talking only of a physical body. It's both physical and what you perceive as you. Right? So, an example. He's a CEO of a company. Let's say when he starts on Dhamma, he can leave that. Where? But what about leaving Buddha Dhamma also? Can he do that? Why? Because that's part of the nature, his self. So the atta will automatically happen. Now, Sakkaya Ditti and atta are not the same. I think if you're getting confused on that, then we need to have a clarity. Sakkaya Ditti means person has a view that all the 5 aggregates is he or she or whatever it is. Means he sees everything joined together. A Sotapanna is one who doesn't is joined, he sees it separated. He finds that or she finds that form creates feelings. Without the rupa, there's no feeling. He knows the dependent origination. Because there is rupa, because there is a feeling, there's a perception. Because there is a perception, there is some kind of volition. Because there is some kind of volition, there's some kind of cognition. The experience which is what the point. Now take an example, simple example, make it easy. Let's take Brisbane. That's a rupa. You can't say there's no rupa at all. There's a rupa. So how do you find Brisbane? You read sign, you'll place to land, say this is the airport, where I'm landing. There's a feeling, a pleasant feeling if the plane were to land as planned. You'll have an unpleasant feeling if the flight is going to get delayed. Let's say when I landed Sydney, let's say the flight got delayed by a couple of hours. I'm in unpleasant feeling because my heart is racing to come to the domestic terminal from the international terminal. But I see a long line in the immigration. And when I go into the immigration, that immigration officer is asking me many questions. That creates even more issues for me because of the rupa. The feeling has come because of Brisbane, not because of anything else. Right? That's what I need to see. And what's the perception? The perception here is that I'm getting delayed. That's the perception. So there is a dukkha vedana which is coming from the feelings. I have a perception that, oh, because this immigration line is taking more time, I might miss my flight to Brisbane. And when I come to the terminal at last, I reach the boarding gate and the Qantas say that You're late. Now, the next flight is in 3 hours' time. So I get frustrated. I'm angered. I'm worried. Everything is happening because of the feeling and perception. So the perception of anger is there because there's a feeling of anger, so there's a perception of anger. There's a feeling of displeasure, so the perception of displeasure. And then the vijnana, the consciousness, is giving me that experience of what is anger. But the point is to start burning. The body is burning, and I'm talking to Shaniel and give him a call saying that, you know what, people are idiots. I don't know what happened, blah, blah. All that. He asked me after hearing through all this wailing, he says, that is fine. What time is the landing? I say 5 p.m. Hey, Vilasji, just relax. Just chill out in the airport. Right? Now, all of this is one answer. Just chill out in there. Why he didn't react, why I reacted is because I took this to be a one full thing. And he took it to be a rupa form associated with feeling. Feeling associated with perception. A perception, feeling, perception with the lesions, what should happen. Collision with the conscious. He didn't take form as himself, feeling as himself, and then the perception as himself, volition as himself, conscious experience as himself. What happened? Didn't feel anything, meaning he didn't have an experience. So from a Puttujana to a Sotapanna, if I am a Sotapanna, when I land, I become a Sotapanna in the flight, guess what? The flight is delayed. Flight is delayed. It's not that I'm delayed, right? The flight is delayed. Am I delayed? Or have I come early? No, I'm neither early nor I'm delayed. It's a flight which is delayed and a flight which has come early. Just like when I landed in San Francisco, Harry, you noticed that I came 45 minutes early. It's not I came early, it's a flight which came early. Flight can come late also. Right? If the flight can come early or late, should I feel something about something which is by its own nature can happen its own way? No, no feeling. So when I land in Sydney, I'm going to inform Daniel after my immigration. Looks like I'll be delayed, so don't have to come right now to the airport. Once I check into the flight, when I board the flight, I will let you know. Because anyway, he has 1.5 hours to land. From his home, it is 40 minutes journey. Can come? Yes.
Right. But it's not to say that a Sotapanna doesn't get frustrated about these delays at all. Right?
He will not. He will not. If he's getting frustrated, that means he is yet to be a Sotapanna. It's only he has Kamachanda and Vyapada. That doesn't mean that he'll get frustrated. Vyapada is that he has ill will as it is for things which he thinks should happen. Or somebody is having something, or some irritation is there, some agitation is there that is going to continue. Frustration is different. Frustration only will come when the 5 aggregates are together. Whenever they are together in a Sotapanna, they will appear like that. Very soon he knows it's not true. So he will correct it. He will react, correct it. He'll say, it's just a 5 aggregates, I forgot. Then it releases that pain. Right? That's what is going to happen to Sotapanna. When it releases, he knows it is released. So his sankharas are ended. Volitions are ended. Volition, that let the flight come, start early, this happen, that happen, that is not there. But when it goes away, again the sankharas appear. He will again do a volition that, oh, the flight should start now. That he would do.
Yeah, but I guess my question is if he can still forget, that means he's still capable of having that.
He
Like
can
you said.
forget, he will
Yeah.
forget, he can forget, but whenever he remembers, it goes away. Yes.
Also, just on that, just on that point about catching flights and things and forgetting, like I know for me, like there's this point after Sottapana that I still had to fly around. If flights were late, it didn't have that same impact that this is the way it is. And I know that, okay, I'll get to my destination. Even if I had to get to my destination and I had to be there for something, or a meeting, that I could put into context. Other people I'd be traveling with would be panicking. It's like, oh no, our flight and whatever. I would just, okay, I know this is just how it is. And you're very peaceful. The other thing is, thus you said, yeah, you do forget initially, but you forget less and less. So more and more you're just comfortable and at ease with whatever is happening. That sense of, oh, this is me and all of these feelings are me, even before you get to.
Yeah, go ahead. Want him?
Yeah. Yeah, yes. No. I was just going to comment on that. Like that, even I feel like if flight's delayed, I'm not disturbed and all that. But I guess I'm just using that as an example. Let's say I'm late doing something and I have to make to this Dhamma meeting, right? I know it's important to me. I certainly get a little agitated and I have to say, hey, quick, let's do that, right? That's like you have different attachment to different things. Flights, like even a normal person can be somewhat, undisturbed. Like I certainly don't get too much disturbed by flight delays. But I guess just an example of, something make you attached to that feeling of perception of I'm late and this has to happen, and that could still happen for something you deem important.
Well, even if someone else is coming to meet you and they are late, say, using lateness as, I know before I'd get irritated, frustrated, whatever. But now it's like, okay, I will just practice or while I'm waiting or something.
People being late is one thing, but I guess like let's say this 7 p.m. meeting for me is very important. I have to make it. If I'm running late, then there's agitation, let's say.
You won't be agitated. Even if like you go to a restaurant and maybe the thing you wanted is not, whatever it is, like all of these things no longer affects you. So there's many situations, same thing. Yes, sometimes you go the more to be aware of all of
What happens is you are able to see the suffering. When you forget, you know the suffering. So you don't want to suffer. So you will start to remember.
Yes.
Give another example. I'll give another example. Okay. Now let's take this scenario of this this flight itself. It's more easy to analyze. Is that when you're flying, right? You want things to go by your own way. Everyone like to have the departure should be at the right time, the arrival should be at the right time, and should be clocked. Okay, that's the reason you have a schedule, first place. What if you're able to track it like 5 aggregates? Schedule is Rupa. You are not scheduled. It's Rupa. The feeling is based upon the schedule, not you. The perception of the schedule is not you. You've created a schedule, or they have given a schedule. Qantas has given a schedule. Just as a schedule, it's not real. Just a schedule. It may not happen. So you cut out the perception from the feeling itself, because there's nothing to feel. It should go as I intend it to go, because I feel the schedule is real. You've given me a schedule, meaning you have to adhere to the schedule. But schedule is just an indicator. So what happens? See the board, it says on time, on time, on time, delayed. Right? The flight is delayed. That's not me delayed. Flight is delayed. So if I'm a Sotapanna, I see that a little bit irritation may happen, not always happen, but just goes away. Because you remember that if you were to allow it to proliferate, it's going to become messy. Stop doing that. So what happens? Get it? Aha. Nice. So you know what it's going to do? You're going to watch the breath sitting there. Maybe 1 hour delayed. Oh, great. What's the problem? So it will not happen for the very first time. Slowly start to, because you know that you're suffering. So how do you know you're a Sotapanna or not is based upon this principle. Are you able to see it full as one is complete? And that creates frustration. Or are you seeing it as 5 aggregate? Most, not probably, most likely in 99% of the cases, not be able to see it as combined. Unless you do some special thing to make it combined. Otherwise, they always look like separated out as 5 aggregate. That should be his experience as well. If it is the other way around, 99% I see it combined and only 1% I see it separated, that means I am yet to be a Sotapanna. I am on the way to be a Sotapanna. Point.
Even the other way around, we talked about negative aspects. So the other thing could be positive. So, like for example, the plane example. Sometimes I put in for an upgrade, whatever, and so I put in for an upgrade. I wait and see what happens before the plane goes. And sometimes I get that upgrade. Even if I get the upgrade, I don't see it as, oh, this is myself. I'm so happy I got an upgrade like most people would, right? Like, okay, this thing happened this time based on the. Sometimes I do and I don't get the upgrade. Same thing. So you're sort of reacting, fluctuating in terms of, this is me, this is the feeling. The feeling that I get when I get an upgrade is you don't attach to that. All the things is different. Then life becomes so much more balanced, equanimous.
And to add to what he's saying is that the first time I came here came by economy. This time I've come by business. Is there any difference between economy and business? Ask me. Only in the name. The plane remains the same. The toilet remains the same. Everything remains the same. So it really doesn't matter what it is called as. Yeah, it's a better facility, agreed, but that doesn't take you that I am getting a better facility. That won't be like what positive. Might get an upgrade, or in fact, he upgraded my flight. Would I come by economy? He made me sure that I'm coming by business. So that's the only thing, is that when it is down, you don't feel hurt. Up, you don't feel elevated. Because you're seeing it as 5 aggregate. We'll give to Chirag, and maybe you had another set of questions, so we'll take that. Yes, Chirag, go ahead.
No, I think I just wanted to add, because I think this perspective I find especially useful, at least from my recent practice. Because even for me, what I've noticed is like when you try to break down an event happening in terms of, like form, feeling, perception, like you notice that, oh, this is the form, and that, let's say, leads to the feeling and so on. The significance of whatever that is a lot less reduced, because everything gets atomicized. Like if everything is together, it feels like this is something really important and that matters to you. But let's say if you are able to see how this causes this and this causes this, then it becomes a lot less significant in comparison. or at least, whenever I try to notice, feelings arise in me, and oh, this feeling arise because this happened and this happened. It's easier for me to react less. So just to say, I think this a lot of credence to what Vilas and Shanil were saying right now.
Good. Excellent. I can give another example. Very straightforward. Light and all that. Be always husband or a wife. Take that. You're always ex-husband, ex-wife, husband, wife. Okay. X is X, current is current. If you take form to be real, means husband is real. The feeling is also real because you feel your husband, so you feel a good feeling if your wife is constantly appreciating you, or you feel bad if she is always finding faults at you. The perception is that I am a husband, I'm doing so much, but my wife doesn't appreciate me. One. Or I'm doing so much and my wife so much appreciates. I'm doing so much, my wife doesn't say anything about it. Three. So you have pleasant feeling, painful feeling, neutral feeling. And because of that, I'm perceiving it in that way. And because of that, I will that every time I do something, wife, not acknowledging, I know that idiot will never do that. Right? Because I've seen her in truth and fact. Forget the thing. Wife, I can divorce. Okay. And this half brick person, he promised me something to join. After coming here, it's not even once you can join. I indirectly told him, I directly told him, I in fact showed interest that I can do games for him. He didn't buy into it. I even wanted to give him a walkthrough. I told about algorithm. I sold everything. But there's no reaction from him because this Rupa CEO is not interested in this Rupa called as an employee. Maybe it doesn't fit his budget. I've told you can even take me for free. That also is not interested, right? And then, or he's in fact seeing so many resumes. If he had told me once, Vilas, can I have a look at your resume? I would have just ran and given it to him. But he's not doing. He's going up and doing so many resumes. One person who's sitting here, he could give a refuge, which he doesn't. Right? Why? Because this CEO is real. Feeling is for me painful. Because he's not doing anything, sitting next to me. Also, the perception I have is I'm still a saleable commodity. I can one day convince him, hey, you don't get a better skill. Yesterday, while he was driving, I just asked him, do you know Scale Agile Framework? He said, yes. So ray of hope opened up. He knows something which I do, right? But he didn't commit anything. That's a perception. So then my volition is somehow, Ariu, this is 16th day, 17th day. He not asked me to come up and see his office. I wanted to see that half bricks. I'm desperate to climb the stairs. He closes the door behind me. What I should do? And the consciousness, I'm cognizing that maybe he's not interested in me. How the five aggregates? Because he's CEO, I want to join him. That's an attachment. That's least suffering. Because the Rupa created CEO. Vedana is created. Pleasant feeling to painful. He say, after this, maybe he would say, so desperate, can join half brick. What a sigh of relief, right? What if I don't see it like Rupa is not, feeling is not formed, perception is not, Volition is not formed. Consciousness. That's the end of something. Can I see that in my day-to-day life? Yes. It's not about memorizing this is Rupa, this is Vedana, this is Sanya and all that. How you really stand it and in your life or in my life. That's the most important. So Buddha talks about 20 things, explaining this 5 aggregates, 4 context. First you will make see inside this body, right? Daniel is a CEO, that means he should be inside this body, right? This body is CEO body, right? And he possesses CEO, right? And the CEO is inside the body. Otherwise, where it will be? Or the form, that is, form, this body possesses CEO, 4 combination. The Rupa. Then you take the Vedana, feeling. Daniel is feeling his CEO. At least I'm making him feel that he's the. I keep on telling you're the CEO, you're CEO, you're CEO. Then he starts to feel, yes, yes, I am a CEO, I am CEO equals body. The self is within this body. That. Or it possesses. Self possesses the body. So your body is possessed by self, so feeling that I am the. Yes, Shira.
So actually, just sorry to interrupt you here, but I had a question about the nature of feeling, right? My understanding was that feeling is simply like, positive, negative, or neutral. So I'm wondering, what does it mean to feel that I'm a CEO? Isn't that the perception that, after feeling, there's the perception that I'm.
First you feel you're a CEO and you feel happy. See, in his case, say some angel investor wants to invest or some company approaches him and they want to do joint development together on a gaming. He should be the CEO for him to negotiate, right? Perception and feeling goes together. It's not separated out. You can't separate it out. But for wisdom's sake, you can see there's a feeling which is there in Shaniel that I'm the CEO. And then there's a happiness because he's a CEO. And then he can perceive that he's a CEO. And he goes to the table with that people who have come, negotiate on what that need to be, join half bricks to for development, how that would work. So there's a volition based upon, as a CEO, going to will what should happen, right? And that company will say what they want. And there's a conscious experience of that. So he's representing Half Brick Studios, even though Half Brick Studio is just a name, but he is representing Half Brick Studio. And that person who has come is representing his company. So they both are experiencing their own organizations. Correct me if I'm wrong. And at that moment, he will do what he is supposed to do, even though he has achieved the highest, he's fabricated, he knows. He has to do that drama. Now it is just a drama as a CEO. He is, no, the Rupa is CEO. The feeling is just of the CEO, giving him happiness or unhappiness, or the perception is, I am the CEO. Volitions are, as a CEO, I'm going to do this, as a CEO, I'm going to do that, etc. Experience or the awareness, the CEO, and I'm doing this. What's the point, Chirag? Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a couple of follow-up questions. One thing is, I just wanted to confirm.
Wait a sec. You follow up later. Let us finish. Aryu has an array of questions.
No, it's okay. I can listen. I think everything I listen helped me to understand. I have more, trying to understand the whole picture better.
Okay, fine. Okay,
Yeah,
Chirag,
so,
go ahead.
so it's not any specific that I'm
Okay,
curious to ask.
fine. Yeah, Chirag, sorry. Now you have a follow-up question. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I just wanted to confirm. I think this feeling, this Vedna we talk about, I think it's always felt in the heart, right? Or is it also
Two
somewhere else?
places, head, heart. If you are a feeling kind of person, meaning there are two centers in every human being. One is a logical center where you feel I'm more head kind of person. That means a more thinking kind of an individual who think a lot. That means the person would be more withdrawn kind of a person who requires a lot of self-reflection before he replies to something, as in the case of Shaniel. And if I see my case, the more the isolated I am, the worse I feel because I'm more of a feeling kind of a person. In my case, I will feel more heart region. In his case, he might feel something in his head region and then the heart region. It needs to be mandatory that it should be on the heart only.
Yeah.
So you
I
had,
think Smith
yes,
has
go
a
ahead.
question.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Smita has a question, I think.
No, Smita, I will come back to later, but did you get your answer?
Right. Because for me, I think it always appears in the
Heart.
heart. Let's say I'm listening right now. If I were to give you guys a specific example, let's say I'm listening to you. I recognize your voice. It's the voice of my teacher, and the feeling arises that okay, whatever he's saying is valuable, so I should listen to it. So that's the volition. So the feeling to me arises in my heart, or at least that's where I feel it.
Yes, because you are an emotional person. Even like you, I have more emotion in me. I might show it or I might not show it at all. That's a separate issue altogether. But by nature, I am more an emotional person because I require more people around me. If no people is there, I start scratching my head, and unfortunately, I don't have any hairs on the head. It might pinch me a lot, but I'm by nature, by the valid nature, I'm more of people person. I go around people. In his case, he's more isolated person. He doesn't want people coming, sitting next to him, attaching himself, and he would get here, there, and is gone. Because the more people come near him, the more uh, uncomfortable he feels. Okay, and that's his nature. So most likely, if he checks, it will be in the head rather than the heart. And in my case, it will also be in the head, but most likely heart.
Interesting.
Yeah, exactly what Vilasji said. Like there are two centers where you'll feel. And for me, I am more logical. So I will feel things in my head. But there are some things too that I'll feel in the heart as well. So it can be either of those two. And I think sometimes the more serious things, the more emotional things, I will feel here.
So would it be fair to say this positive, neutral, and negative feeling, like for Shaniel, or for you, Vilas, you would feel it sometimes in the head. Is that right?
If he creates a logical pattern head, if he takes the as it is, raw, without processing in the heart. Let's say he has his ex-wife calling on him. It will directly hit the heart. It will not know, no processing can happen when there's a wife involved. It always direct. Oh, okay. That's where it is. Or his children call. Heart. Colleague calls. Can be in the head, not in the heart. So it depends on what we are talking. It's not by default setting it is heart or by default setting head. If by nature, like in my case, I'm more emotional person, meaning I want more and more people to interact with me, that means I'm more than willing to adjust for their sakes, and it hurts or feel happy heart. So my judgment is more emotional rather than thought through. Example, my wife keeps on telling me this. If somebody gives me a call and he says, Can you meet me? I will say yes. And she says, You promised the same thing to me. We were supposed to go out. Oh, yes. Now I will either have to convince her that we'll go later, or I would call that person saying that, hey, sorry for the mess up. Uh, uh, we can't meet now. And he says, or she says, I'm already almost on the way to your home. Then I look at my wife like a innocent child talking to the mother. And then I will convince her, no, I agree. We will go later. And she's that this is not the first time you're doing this to me. You keep on doing this forever. When will you learn? And she gives me a big topic that all hits in my heart. Right? Only thing I could have done, Chirag, is I could have said to that person, shall we meet? And I would have said, give me 10 minutes, let me think it over and let you know, which I rarely do. Can I incorporate that in my life? Yes. And second thing, as these two people have seen, or at least Shaniel has, I talk more than him. So for him, it's a headache. For me, it is, it's like I'm in a, what I can say, a well-developed cemetery. Okay, I have only one guy shoulder my pain, and that is Bobby Thorne. Because that guy also cannot keep his mouth shut. So two people are like frogs. And he will always feel, when will these frogs stop croaking? And what he does is a fantastic, be watching something with us and say, time out. And these two children will just shut their, sit in a corner. That's how it. When you are here, you will see more of these things happening. But we're just giving you a curtain raiser of what you can expect between a heart-based person who doesn't have any top gap and a head-based person who always has a gap. That answer. And I'll go to Smita.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I know you're a hard person, so I know that for long.
I think for me definitely in the heart. Also, I think let's say the next stage is volition, right? For me, the volition also I feel it in the heart that like the intention to do something, it
Chirag,
arises in the heart.
Chirag, if you are a heart-based person, the remaining things also cannot go ahead. For pain, sorrows, despair, heart only. Terrible in the heart only. Anything you is in heart only. Or if you're elated, also in heart. So we all are in the same boat. Exceptionally few people head accept. Many people are heart, have sense of thing to people to they feel directly. Oh, that to me, he said that. Can be good or bad or whatever. Yes, Smita, go ahead.
So, sir, actually, I'm also a head kind of person. I like to think. Most of my time is spent just thinking. My job is also requiring me to think a lot. So, um, you know, you talked about the flight scenario and, applying dependent origination to something that happens externally is kind of easy for me. But I find it difficult to apply dependent origination to the thoughts and the thinking that goes on. So how to not identify with the thinker or the ability to think, or be conscious of the process of thinking, or in summary, how to apply dependent origination to just the thinking, because you can be sitting on the meditation cushion and think and think and think for hours. So how can you stop yourself from um, getting into that?
Excellent question. That first and foremost, you need to know that there are three things in life. One is perceiver, perceive, person who perceives, or the consciousness which perceives. Then there is a feeler, consciousness feels, thinker, the consciousness mediates. Now we come to the section feeling, thinking. The only way you can deal with these two extreme polarities of thinking and feeling is by creating an observer. If there is no observer, you keep on thinking or you keep on feeling. Only two things that is going to happen, because the perception would say, he did or she did like this, so let me think it over on what should be the answer. Then I keep on thinking and thinking and thinking on that. But the perception did so. Or I start feeling, oh, it happened to me, and next time it shouldn't happen, so what I should do? I'm feeling and feeling and feeling, and I start my this mental chatter. So both create, in one way, mental chatter. So the first thing I need to do is get hang of watching the breath. Okay, that's the only answer you can have for both kind of people who are purely thinkers or purely feelers. And some people are in between, meaning they sometimes feel, they sometimes think. You don't know when they think and you don't know when they feel, but they will be doing these two depending on the perception. Basically, the problem of consciousness is the perception. So what Buddha says is that change the perception, not the feeling, not the thinking. Change the perception. If the perception is changed, the sanya, the perception, the symbolization, what you have made, the feeling goes away or the thinking goes away. Either of the one which you are strong will go away, leading to the release at the very moment. Let me give some examples to make this happen. Let's say I love my wife. Loving is a feeling, a feeling. You can't logically love anyone. I think if you try logically imagining love, that person will run away. Because love should be blind. Meaning, you love for the sake of loving? No. You love because you really love. You fall into the pit. And now you don't know how to get out. So that's love. If you logically sequence love, it means it is mathematics. And you need to think a lot to love, which will never be there. Because the perception will not allow you to love in one place. The perception will not allow you to think in another place. You change the perception. How? Make it anicca, uncertain. In this case, meaning that person loving you is as uncertain as that person agreeing with you. So make it uncertain. When there is uncertainty, it leads to dukkha, for sure. Take the dukkha, suffering you're going to have by holding on to this relationship, which is so uncertain. Then what do? Drop that. Because now you've seen the dukkha, immediately the mind drop it off. cutting off the food, which is the story making. So the thinking will drop because there's nothing more to think, or the feeling will drop because there's nothing more to feel, because you just dropped off. There's no need. So the contact itself is not there. So there's no feel or existence of that very thing. So it goes away because I change the perception. The Nitya Sanya, that means it's going to be eternal, it's going to be certain, is the one which is making me think or feel. I can't remove the feeler. That's not possible because that is a default setting I have. My equipment is default setting. His equipment is, he is a thinker, the default setting. Even 1 year stay with him, I cannot make him feel. And I'll ask him on talking and he will get me like, waste my energy on this fellow. I don't know how many days left, 20 odd days. When he flies, I'll delete his number. It's been a pain. From morning to evening, I'm stuck with this person. What he would feel. Because his thinking is, I require solid. I don't know from where this Asian is eating my brains from morning till evening. He only does that. And for me, it's a pain. He doesn't speak. It's like I'm talking to the wall. Come on, speak something. That thinker and feeler cannot, only thing available. If I expect him to change, feel is as good as he expecting me to think. Both are tenable, non-tenable. Means you can try somehow learn tricks of the trade and thing, and I will start to just sit silently time as though I'm thinking. Oh, what? Absolutely no suffering. Thinker, there's no perceiver. That perception as dukkha. So you're out of suffering. But there's anatta. The feeler, vilas, is anatta, self there. There's no self to feel, as there is no self to think. Anything this thinker can do, this feeler, say, a feeler, feeler would say, but there's no I. And I will go back to the thinker. Can you be? Makes sense. The plastic life in that's for. But the both are in the anicca by their nature. Dukkha is, and then there is anatta. The lakhana, the characteristics are perfect. How do you do this? Only do this by watching. Start with. Then, when the mind is capable, meaning comes stilled up, not stirred up, stilled up, can go to the next second, getting into jhana, where jayati, burn. So you keep your fuel ready to burn the defilement. Come to the first jhana, vitakka vichara, that is vitakka, debate on what I am going to do all this thinking, feeling kind of circuits. Chara is about thinking, they fade away. leading on to just the insight of breath, where you can, all of this dirt, you will let go of your thoughts, thinking. I can let go of my feeling. Let's go of his thinking, I let go of my feeling. Both are in first jhana. And there's no need for him to latch on to the thinking. There's no need for me to latch on to. I don't know how much it sense of the sense.
Much more to add, but the only thing I wanted to say is, yeah, when that thinking's happening, one thing that you can try to do is, as Vilasji said, have that observer where you like step back and being objective and just watching that play, seeing how you have no control over that. You know? When you do that enough, then your mind starts to realize, well, yeah, I have no control over this. It's happening on its own. It's mostly pointless. Slowly come out of that. But being able to watch the breath and develop that clarity, be able to step back just that little bit, watch the mind do it. That's crucial in calming that. Because I also had the same issue. Too much chatter, too much. That's why I started meditation, and gradually stops.
Same thing, complementing to what he said, too much of feeling. What to do?
Thank you both. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
people don't understand my pains. I have to understand my pain myself.
Thank you so much, both.
Yes, Sherry.
Yeah, so I guess about this thinking and feeling, like it makes me slightly confused because I felt that I'm an emotional person, that I feel, but also it's always thinking, so I'm confused. It's not. It's not true that a feeling person don't think, right? They could also be stuck in thinking a lot too, right? Or am I a thinking person, not feeling at all?
Are you, as far as I've seen, two visits your India, you are a feeler. Because of that feeling, you start thinking. It's not the other way around. The thinker, in his case, is logically thinking. He puts everything in mathematical terms. And that happened is on that. The feeling
So
person. Yes.
I guess I get the worst of both ends, like that.
So you are a
One,
feeler. You are not a thinker. You are a perfect feeler. Okay, that's the reason I told you long time ago, you're my son, because I can't take you anything other than you being my son because you feel. So it's good in that way. Absolutely fair. So my only thing for you, from my side, not to hurt you, because you're like perfect feel, and you think on that feeling. That goes endless for you.
Just one thing I wanted to add, Eriyu, it's not one or the other. Both are there, both those modes, but one will be primary. And when you start to be able to see that, what you'll see is maybe there's some thought, which then generates feeling. Feeling will flare up, and then that feeling will spur on more thought, generates more feeling, and then you're gone, like in this cycle. But start to gain some wisdom, you're able to see that and to cut it, stop it off, see it for what it is really.
So I'll tell you one thing, since you asked this question. If I were to start today, I will observe my feel. I will not observe my thoughts, thinking. Feelings creates thinking for me, just like in his case, the thinking creates feelings for him. The cycle. He has to cut the thinking cycle, I have to cut the feeling. So nobody is a pure feeler, nobody is a pure thinker.
not the thing.
Yeah. Madhukarji, you had asked a question or you had raised your hand earlier. I don't know what answer or
Yes, sir. Yeah, actually, my I think some of my answer has been already you are given because the Smita here asked the same question. Actually, when I was thinking that when the thinker is there and the feeler is there, that itself is also condition based.
yes,
So how to destabilize both these people and how to remove these two people so that so you are already given answer. You watch the breath and do not give them a foundation or the base, which is called the perception. If the
yes,
perception will neutralize, nobody is going to enter into the room. No feeler, no thinker. So
exactly.
I
The
got answer, but
ex-
but yeah. Anything you wish to add to make my understanding refined? Welcome.
no, you're perfect. Only thing you can do in this world, change a person. There is no 100% feeler, there's no 100% thinker. They both are fabricated. They're not real. It's coming out
Mental
of
create.
perception. Yes, Chirag.
Yeah, I think one question I've always wondered is I don't know if it's universally true, but whether the feeling arises first or the thought arises first. Because I think definitely I've noticed that, let's say, the feeling causes the arising of thoughts, and obviously that leads into a circle. But let's say if you're just like the observer, right, and you're not engaging in any activity in a vacuum, would you say definitively that the feeling arises first or the thought arises first?
Have you played a ping pong ball? Life?
Oh, you mean played ping pong?
Pong?
Yes.
Next time you someone who starts first. If as long as you both are playing, it seems like he started, you started, he started, started, and then the person stops, then the ball goes away. Same way, it seems as though the feeling created or the thoughts created feeling. Don't go behind that. It's like a ping pong ball. Remove the perception. Game is over. Don't ever get into this cycle of finding who started it. Of no use. The perception. That's the only relief you can get.
One last question, if
Sure.
no one else has any other question. So I think the only aggregate I don't understand well is the last one, Vinyana, right? Because let's say
Consciousness.
in this example, let's say I'm listening to your voice, and I can identify it's your voice, and it's this evolution that I need to listen to you. But what is the last aspect, Vinyana?
It's simple. It's if I am feeling I'm the CEO of this company, it gives me a experience of CEO, even though Daniel is the CEO, but I can change by changing the perception. Conscious experience would be whatever is given, put given. Given is see. So I sit here, start dreaming, and nobody can stop me from doing that. So cut me off, man. Come on. What's the problem? I was a, that's what conscious. It can give you what you want. Want this, you want to be Chirag, it will give you Chirag. Husband, this, you want to that, and you get. That's all what the conscious give you what is there in the perception.
How is it different than perception then? So let's say the CEO itself is a label, right? Like say I perceive that this is Vilas, but I'm experiencing Vilas who's speaking. Is it like more holistic? Like the Vijnana is.
See, that's the reason one sutta called Mahaveda says Jnana has Panya, 3 strong. Without which you can't understand. Because consciousness is a magician. It will do what you want it to do. Say, sun doesn't rise in the east. It will show you the sun doesn't rise in the east. Okay, that's what it can do. Basically, you have to have a wisdom developed on this consciousness self to see things as they are. Realize through consciousness. You can't realize any other way. You are consciously. So presently, the consciously, you're feeling I'm talking. That's the created consciousness, established consciousness. That's called Nidasana Vinya. It has created on something. Now, when you have as Anidasana, unestablished, means that it's pure. It's got nothing to do with anyone or anything. That means there's no feeler, no thinker, but there's no perceiver also. And this, what happened? But
Very, very subtle, very. The experience of that, you have to experience to understand. Yeah? You can explain, but it's difficult to translate that into something that you really understand.
so basically, don't worry about these things. You just worry about removing the perception from anything. If you perceive you're this, don't give any interest towards that. It will fall down, and the feeler and the thinker both will end. Okay, that's a fuel. Perception is a fuel for both. Yes, sir. You.
Yeah, going back a little bit to this topic of sotapanna, right? So you said, let's say if you become a sotapanna, they'll become proud of it, let's say, right? But this person will have spiritual ego in terms of these 5, right? But in what way is that person, different than a normal person in terms of
Maybe
proud?
the right person, if anyway, Lata is here, the right person to give one line answer is Lata only. Nobody else can give, because if I keep on explaining, it'll go in circles. She wants to, otherwise I will leave it, because she's seen me very deep. Okay, and it will be there. That much I can tell you. Yes.
Yeah, if Lata wants to answer, please come in. But I'm just curious, in these 20 ways, right? In these 5x4.
In that 20 ways, you have to put that. As a teacher, you put it.
Yes. My question is, has the Sotapanna crossed out any of these 20?
No,
or
he's still in that only. He's still in that. Now he has put a new one that I am released from going into the apayas.
Okay. But also in the same time, you were saying he's able to break it apart and see, not get so much attached.
He'll see.
But the attachment is just not as a whole, but still individual is equally attached, can be. It can be equally attached. Perception of Amgiradama, I'm moral. As a perception, as a feeling, I'm moral. As an experience, I'm moral. Like all that. You will have all the 5x4.
5x4. Yeah, I think she can answer much better. She's seen me with a lens.
No, not like that. I don't know what to answer. But what I say is that your inherent characteristics, even when you become a Sotapanna, will still be there. So whatever you are thinking or feeling, that will not change. It will still run, and you will helplessly watch. And that will happen. It will, irrespective of whatever you try to do, it will play out. So even Vilas has some certain kind of characteristics. And I used to tell other people, they will used to comment. If I is talking like this, I said there are human tendencies. Please, he is also a human being. And the human limitations we just have to overlook and look at the teachings only. So that will play out, irrespective. It's my one-line answer, if I can say.
Yes, that's the reason I gave it to you, because I'll keep on explaining in different ways.
Yeah, it will play out. I think you will also see it. I have also seen it myself. I don't want to be like that, but it will play out. The feelings and I can tell you now, my dog Bruno passed away on Saturday, and you know he was having cancer, lung cancer, and he has been on the drips for last 10 days. Every day morning we are taking him, and on that day we didn't take him for the drips because we wanted to see whether he can sustain. And he was taken to the vet, a new hospital, and they were trying to. We were talking to the doctor, and he was giving possibly given oxygen, and I heard one cry out from him. And then, immediately I couldn't control. Some lightning passed through my heart. Okay. So then I went and saw he's gone. So, and I could see my husband, my sister. Oh my God, they were devastated. I was looking, oh, he has escaped from the dog body. But I still couldn't control that thing which came.
Emotions.
Yeah. I helplessly watch. Okay, that is there still. But you're aware of it. And that is a more difficult part. When you know it and then you are in the no man's land. So you're neither there nor here. So I can, if I want, I can sit and I don't really feel any grief or anything. But if I want, I can really go into that depth and feel it also.
Yes.
So when I go and sit with my sister and all, okay, maybe let me. Otherwise, I will try to coach her, telling that okay, this is that and that is that. So I don't want to do that. And with my daughter also, she's in US, and we showed her. I haven't told her about he's very sick and so on, but for her it was so much of
Grief.
emotional breakdown, and she's crying and crying. So I have to be with her. I can't sit back and then look and then say, okay, coach them, telling that, oh, he escaped from the dog body and all that stuff. I cannot say. That's the thing. So I can do with that set, or you can be. So when you are in that, only when I guess when you reach Chenials or Vilas's place, all those mental things and all will go off. I assume.
You're right.
Yeah.
You still
Okay.
have you
Yeah, I mean, you're not never gonna get total clarity on this unless you know.
you have to do the journey yourself. No matter how much somebody explains, still a dry thing.
Yeah, yes, definitely, absolutely. But I mean, the question needs to be settled to some level, I guess.
No, you can't. Exactly what she said. You can't. Just
Not.
accept to what it is, move forward, end on.
One day all your questions will end.
Hmm.
Then you will know. Okay, you got some. You just have to get the glimpse. Then your questions will end. There, the journey will still be there.
See, I'll give you an example. Maybe it'll end or try my best. There are two. One fan faster. So call that as she. Guys, be fast. It's in switch off mode, but the momentum that has been picked up, it loses by itself. Nobody can. So even though we both might have the same thing, but it looks different because as meant what it might have called a Dhamma mode, having create rather than getting bogged down by that and trying to look at which of the five aggregates go into new test of the detail, which will make and ultimately head for the fans. So running, but both are on switched off mode. Or fan. What the point?
Yes, very good example. Thank you.
Leave it. The more you
Yeah. You don't need to understand the 20, right? That's why we're talking about it at all.
you can't understand certain things with reasoning logic. How can you predict the fan stop?
No. The fan stopping is fine, but since we're in this topic of discussing these 20, we should
Yes.
have
So
some level of understanding of
see
which
the
it
5
is.
aggregate there till arhat and after arhat 5 aggregate need to be there.
Okay, maybe I can ask a more specific question, right? Let's say you become in your journey once you were Sotapan, and this thought arises, I'm good at Dhamma, let's say, right? So in these 5 aggregates, which of the 4 is it most predominant
Not
in?
like that. Why I'm telling you, you're going atomic. Please understand. Meaning than atomic structure. Oh, it's happening in Rupa. Let me attack that. See where it is happening in Vedana. Let me try to see. For that, go through N44, 43, whichever that Mahaveda. Pure clarity. Same question is there. Can you divide all?
I see, yes. Feeling, perception, experience.
And he says no.
But I guess the way why they divide by 4 is that we can have some level of experiencing of like
No,
knowing
it is
which.
how it is considered. How do you 5 by 4? Right? Is it really how it is? If you try doing
Okay, I see.
Madhukarji, go ahead. You're on mute.
Sir. I just read that whatever Lata Madam had said. Whenever I see like that, at one time, uh, sometimes initially I never used to get an answer why I'm thinking so much or why I'm feeling so bad, so good, etc. So over a period of 1 month of since last 1 month, I just feel myself that I'm standing in the river, and the thinker goes on thinking, and the fillers are feeling like I'm just watching that, and that gives a more of me to realize that some witness is there, and witness day by day is becoming stronger. So I hardly get any disturb. If the thought come, let it think. If the emotion come, let it go. So trying to see as what it comes, and as it because when I see that as it comes, it has to go as it goes. I mean, that's the nature of those things. So I that makes me realize the role of witnessing is more prominent. I feel that way.
Excellent. That's the way to do. They both will go and your perception will
Yes,
change.
they'll go by their own way.
Yeah, they go by their.
If we put a fish hook there, then we get trapped. That doesn't
You're
happen to
again
me.
back
So
in
we
the
get
same place. Anyway, thank you so much. I think we need to have lunch. We are waiting, and our friend is hobby is us. Trouble him. Any final thoughts before?
Starting to see coming from the background, really more. That's very good. Yeah, that's the way to do it. And you do exactly what he is doing, Madhukar is doing, rather than going. You're on mute.
Yeah, now try every feeling I'm feeling. I try to see, am I taking it as mine or am I feeling proud of it? But now I take it as mine. I feel proud of it. So I cannot. Then I start seeing it myself. I'm getting confused in where I'm landing.
Yes, you are going into atomic. Do that or understand.
But observing is good, but not trying to
Be an observer. Be an observer. Be a witness. That in the end, witness. Then the I, self, eradicate.
Otherwise, I'm just multiplying the perception because this identification is another perception of where it's landing.
You're going in circle. Okay. Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.